Kavanaugh's friend from college is sounding off on Thursday's hearing. It's Chris Dudley. You may remember him from such teams as the New York Knicks and the Portland Trail Blazers of NBA fame. Here's One America's John Hines, who's sat down with Dudley today.
Chris Dudley, it's good to talk to you, and thank you for talking to One America News. I wanted to ask you a little bit about these recent events. The big news event is about your friend. Talk a little bit about your thoughts. The committee has taken a vote. Talk about your thoughts about your friend being out of the committee.
Well, I'm really happy that he's gotten out of the committee. I thought yesterday was an incredible day. Thought Dr. Ford was very compelling and believable, and I felt, to me, there was no question that something had happened in her past. I thought Judge Kavanaugh, was so believable, so real, and I've known him for 35 years. But his emotion came out, and that's the most fired up I've ever seen him. But you could just tell that these false accusations, one after another, piling up, each one getting worse and more ridiculous each time. This smear campaign that was going on, he just felt that he had to fight back. And I thought he did a very strong job in doing that, compelling job, and I'm glad the committee has moved forward.
So he fought back. You were in the room when he was doing that. Talk about the feeling of sitting behind him, seeing this dynamic going on with the senators and the exchange between he and the senators.
Well, I think the senators were really pushed back. And I think maybe...
You mean the Republican ones?
Well, no, I think both. I mean, I think pushed back in that, well, the Democrats in this regard, in that what they were doing, these political games, were truly impacting people's lives. And I thought Lindsey Graham's, I said I wanted to give him a high five after the way he called it what it was, and really came across of calling these, and unfortunately when you're around and you see this and you know the gamesmanship that go on, that there were two victims here, Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh. This should have been handled confidentially back in July. No one had to know. But instead, we had this circus, this show that was put on for political purposes, and I think that's very unfortunate. But I also think it's very unfortunate in today's world where we are with the Me Too movement, which is real, and I support that. I think you want women to feel empowered to come step forward. You want men to know that it's not okay at any age to act inappropriately to women.
Talk about Lindsey Graham. What was the mood in the hearing room?
It resonated across the room. I mean, the Democrats know what they're doing, and they know that they may believe Professor Ford and believe something happened, as I do, believe she's credible, but they also realize that they held this intentionally for political purposes, and I think it really resonated that this was the wrong thing to do, and I think privately many of them would regret it.
You were also in the room with his wife. Did she express anything to you? Any of his family members express anything to you in terms of their feelings?
You know, I talked to his parents because I was in a room with him, and then talked with Ashley later, and his parents were incredibly proud. There was some really just emotional moments there when he spoke of what the influence his mother had on him, and her being a prosecutor, and what the role model that she was. When he spoke of his father and the influence he had on his life. Just the passion that came out, and with Ashley, just how difficult that's been. What a difficult process. And there was not a dry eye in the room when he spoke of his 10-year-old daughter, saying that she wanted to pray for Dr. Ford. That was an emotionally impactful moment, and just shows what kind of people that they are. And so it was emotional. I think I feel everybody was incredibly proud of Judge Kavanaugh. The way, like I said, that's not the way he will judge. That's not the way he will rule, and as far as demeanor. But at that time, he had been accused of so many just getting to ridiculousness, smear, just things you don't even want to mention, that don't deserve being mentioned. And he stood up and said, enough's enough. I think, you know, the thing I told him and told his parents is that I was so proud of him, because I think as Americans, if you're unbiased, if you don't come into this with any bias one way or the other, I think you would say that she was credible, something happened to her in her lifetime, and I think you would also say that Judge Kavanaugh did not do this. I think that both came across loud and clear. And I felt like he could walk out of that room with his head held high, that he had cleared his name, he is a good man. Senators will do what they do and the process will go on, or whatever happens. I feel like he'll get confirmed, but who knows? But he can look himself in the mirror, keep his head held high, and people respect him for that.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.